welcome to our Broadway Records listening party for Edge of the World. The album dropped today, literally moments ago. If you live in another country, perhaps it was hours ago. Perhaps you got it 20 minutes ago. I don't know, and I don't care, because we're going to listen to the whole daggum thing. If you don't know my existence already, my name is Grace Aki. I'm the content strategist for Broadway Records. And I don't know, you can follow me around wherever. Just don't stalk me. All right, let's bring in the guys. Shall we? Let's do it. So we're going to have Ethan Slater and Nick Blaemire, the creators of Edge of the World, right here, right now, for your viewing pleasure. There they are.
Oh, hey. Hi, guys.
Oh, man, you guys have been running around doing this thing. Is this the last stop for today? Are you still going after this?
I've been in this same chair for 5 hours, 6 hours, right? I've run nowhere. This has been the easiest press tour.
I've been taking my backdrop with me everywhere we've gone.
You've gone to the studio?
We've been running, from Studio A to B to we've been traveling virtually, just like the album.
Wow. Yeah. What a tie-in. Do you guys like how we set this whole thing up in Alaska?
I love it. It's the most beautiful painting.
So beautiful. It's amazing.
Is it a picture?
It is a photograph, but I do want to talk about, since we're starting at the beginning of the album, the artwork. You guys, it's beautiful artwork that is so well articulated for the piece, and it's also in the digital booklet as well. When you guys buy the album, just saying, you should do it. BroadwayRecords.com. Tell us a little bit about the cover art itself.
Yeah. Okay. So. The amazing Stephanie Layton made this cover art. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I think it was like one of these experiences of like, we sort of sent the album to her and communicated a little bit of what we were thinking.
Yeah.
And as Nick often has been saying, I'm like jumping in on an answer that I feel like I'm just like copying what he said before. But as so beautifully happens when you're working with awesome artists, and like you just like hope this thing happens, is like the first thing she said back. We were like, that's so it. Like that's like so special, and adds this whole other dimension to it. So yeah, it was in that way. It was like a really so easy.
It's a cool like connection, right? With like all the collaborators. You're basically like, here's the show. Like, what does this do to you? And like, are you just going to be an employee? Or are you a collaborator? Like, are you gonna, are we gonna have to tell you what it is, or is it something enough that you can respond? And like, that's like kind of the experience all over. Like the band was all over the country. The Stephanie, we never sat in person with her, and like she still got it. So awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like the thing, just like to talk about the cover itself, which you can see anywhere, is like just like the image of pulling it back. It's not like a still from the show, right? Like it's not like showing a particular moment that we described on the album. It's just like the concept of peeling back the world.
Wait, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. This is actually.
Oh, Nick is getting up to show us something.
Oh.
From a corkboard.
This is a New Yorker graphic that came out during the pandemic about parents taking care of their kids and pulling grief away from their kids.
Oh my gosh.
It's so powerful. And I need to find out who did it, because we like basically were like, oh, what if you reverse it and it's the kid pulling back the illusion to see the real world? And well, hopefully that'll resonate when you listen to the album.
Well, that's why I just want to jump right into it so we can talk about the plot and like your guys' involvement in the album, because you're both heavily featured on this thing that you've created. So let's jump right into the prelude.
Why don't we write a new song together? Can't we make up a different one to sing? I'm scared of my old stories, the way they cling to my hair. If you aren't scared of yours, well then we can start from there. Or anywhere. by living on the edge of the world. Living on the
Boom. What an opener. What
Cool.
an opener. We love to see it.
Those trumpets. Aaron Ankrum on the trumpet.
I love
that
that.
trumpet.
On the trumpet.
On the trumpet.
The trombone.
That's so good. Yes, love this intro. Thanks, Chloe. You guys, let's jump into the plot of this, because I think that what's so great about this album, like last time we did this, I was talking to Drew about I Could Use a Drink. It's just kind of like all these random song stories thrown into a thing. This is a concept album. Like you guys wrote this whole story. So let's start from the beginning with this prelude going into the rest of the album. Can you guys kind of give us a little synopsis of the plot that we'll get started?
Yeah, Nick, do you want to do it? Do you want me to?
I'll do this chapter.
chapter.
Yeah,
We'll
just
do
the full
chapter,
chapter.
okay?
Fantastic.
So
fantastic.
chapter 1 is that's Ben
Mhm.
singing a piece of the show that will come back later. That like essentially we were talking about, this idea of somebody looking back, and the show is very amorphous in its like walls. I think in space and time is I think what's cool about a concept album is that you don't have to be super literal.
Mhm.
And this show, we're not even sure is going to have a book. So it might very well be, it might feel like a song cycle, but like hopefully the thing connects in this way where like Tommy or Superstar, what it is and what's going on based on like where the song is in the show. Right. So this is the very beginning, and it's this guy looking back, and hopefully the trumpets can act as like a portal, to another place. And so now we've left wherever you were. Now we're going somewhere else.
Nice. Well, should we just go to Alaska? Is that what we're
Let's
going to
go.
do?
Let's do
Let's
it.
2, 3. Get in the car, we're going west. Up to the coldest cold, where only the boldest dare to go. That's why we'll go. Adventure starts where borders end. I got a posting and they're sending us to mend the great unknown. Alaska, here we come. Alaska, here we come. Follow the stars, let's take a ride. With no pollution to block out the sight at night, that's how we'll go. Till all we see is snow. We live remotely on a refuge in the Arctic wild, far from any other human being. We'll do our research and then bring the findings we compiled back into the city. But till then we're singing, Alaska, here we come. Alaska, here we come. Try not to worry, son. I see the worry on your face. This place will give us space to press restart when we're apart from a world that's crumbling, a society that's struggling to survive. But out here the air is clear and we're alive. We're alive. There are things we only dream of. Worlds that you can build and fill with freedom. People that are perfect cause it's you who made them. Real ones disappoint you but create them, and they'll always treat you like a cut above. Son, you're the one I love. You're the one I love. You're the one I love. Here we come.
Yeah. I want to say that after every time. You know what? I'm so glad that you said that about the trumpets. Is that it reminds me of that, you know, that like Andrew Bird, like that nostalgic sound of like, you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yes.
it's
Andrew Bird's
so
the best.
good.
Totally.
Oh, it makes my heart warm. Also, I have to shout out that we highlighted a comment from Kendall. I love Kendall. She's a phenomenal singer. Shout out to Kendall. Wow. Love to see it in the chat. You guys, the whole like rest of the journey is looking back and also like telling it in real time. Tell me about writing this type of story and this type of music together on Zoom separately at different times. Like I've heard you guys talk about this on a couple of different channels, but I'm so eager for all the people listening to this right now to kind of know the origin of how you guys created a musical in this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it started before this time, fortunately. We started working on it a few years ago, and then, you know, the world sort of shut down, and we were stuck inside and stuck behind our computer screens, and it took a little bit of time for us to figure out how we wanted to keep working on this show that we'd already been working on, but couldn't do in the ways that we'd been doing it.
Yeah, like could we? Like was it a good idea? Because it's
Right.
like about isolation, and in the beginning was like, is this like? So we were in here. We wrote the show in here and at Ethan's place in Brooklyn, and then he moved to LA before the pandemic, right?
Nope, in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh my God!
I know,
in April or something, or like May.
In June, but yeah, well, because I had got yeah.
That's a long story, but so
Long story.
everyone's going through the pandemic, right? Hey, so everything's recontextualized, right? And it's like, I don't know if this is too sad. I don't know. I mean, it hasn't gotten sad yet, but like, spoiler alert.
We gotta end the whole stream. You gave it away, Nick.
I didn't say what it is, but
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm not taking it. So it actually became really exciting to think about it in the context of an album rather than a musical that we need to get to a theater, which is like a hard journey for every show, and it's really frustrating and like takes forever. And an album we could do right now, and it actually could help us make the show better. And so then that like re-obsessed us with a different journey, which was like good for the amount of time we had, and we really filled it. And we found like people who really were like, okay, I see why this would be, you know, worth the time in my own apartment, you know, and to do it together from across the country.
Yeah, and we had like, you know, we had partners in every element that sort of believed in that idea, right? Like we had Broadway Records, which is like just like super helpful in bringing people together, because like you all believed in making this now, and you know, Bonnie Comley and Stuart Lane, who like
totally
just like fully supportive and like and supportive of this idea of like sort of doing it backwards in a way, right? Like we're making the album, the concept album, which has been done, you know, Jesus Christ Superstar and Tommy and like these concept albums that we like grew up on, but they were like, yes, this is an awesome idea. We love this thing. Like, let's do it. And they've been so unbelievably supportive of the like virtual version of it. Not to mention like Norbert and Lily and Aaron, our unbelievable producer and who's doing it from Minneapolis while I was in LA. And we, you know,
one thing about Bonnie and Stuart is that they would run Broadway HD. They started that. And that I think is in this conversation that we're all having now of like, you know, what is digital theater, and like, should you pro shot every show and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, did Hamilton get hurt by doing it on Disney Plus? Of course not. And like, I bet you the Diana thing helps. You know, like it's exposure, and it's exposure to other audiences, and it's not being elitist about theater. No. And so suddenly it's like, this is literally free, this album, and hopefully will inspire people creatively to think about how it could work on stage, rather than being like, come to my reading where I'm super desperate for this to work the one, you know, day for all of Broadway to see it. You know,
9 a.m.
Like,
everyone's warmed up.
Magic, Norbert, hey, sing as many A flats as you can in a row. Like, no, this is a real chance to explore it and fully realize it, which was another, like, you know, orchestrationally and arrangement, they just help. They tell you parts of the story that you don't want to put into words. You don't want to like over textualize it. You know, you want to show it.
Yeah. Let's jump right into Wolfpack from there. I love that.
Feel the wild wind in my ears and through my wolf hair. 'Cause when you share a meal down to the bone, who's gonna leave you out on your own? Howl at the moon all night and play all day. Choose the path you take to school, find your own little wolf way. I always wanted a dog, 'cause my friends all had their own best friend. But now I see that a wolf is better, 'cause their protection never ends.
What a bop. Every song is a bop, even the sad ones.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, thanks, Scott. Look at that.
Yes, totally. Right. It's for you, Scott. It's for
100%.
you. It's for the people who
Audience
don't
of one.
live next to Broadway. Like,
yeah. That's the thing. It's like, we all grew up in different places, and like, you know, we always wanted to have the next tour or the next like community theater show or whatever it is. And now look at us with technology. You guys are getting to share this, and I'm so excited for everybody to see like the mini doc that we're gonna tease out and show the world with all the things you guys were working on behind the scenes. Yeah, we can just keep going in the plot of this show if that's cool. What's the next chapter? Does anyone want to take that?
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, so right, they're in Alaska, and I think that this is like the sort of part of the show where they're acclimating to a new kind of life, a life of surviving sort of in the wilderness and you know, living by instinct. It's also the part of the show where like Henry, who's you know, played by Norbert and is Ben's dad, is like teaching Ben what the world is in this very specific kind of place. So like Ben's getting his world built for him and around him, and he's sort of starting to play in it. And you know, Wolfpack is the song where the imagination really starts to take over, and you know, he's using his imagination to cope with the sort of inherent loneliness that he maybe can't quite name yet. Yeah, so that's sort of the section that we're in. Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting thing, right? Because like the show is like always sort of functioning on those like sort of two levels, which is maybe we're sad at what's happening, but Ben isn't quite yet.
Right.
Because that's the mind of a child. You're just ingesting everything as a happy moment. And you don't realize that maybe what you're taking in might have some kind of heartbreaking turns. So, well,
totally right. Well said.
Let's
we're going to a good place now, though. We're going towards like the first moment of like real collaboration between the son and the dad, right? Like they've been sort of separate. It's like you can imagine Ben quiet in the car, right, on the way up, like, why am I leaving? And like, why is all of our stuff in the back? And he gets there and it's beautiful but boring, and he fills his mind with the imaginative stuff, and then they sit down to actually like make a fire that night, that first night. And that's the song.
When you make a fire, you're making light, taking darkness out of night. Give yourself a spark to aim for. Put a soul within your sight. When you make a fire, stories flicker like our ancestors told. Tales of valor, of bravery, of breaking the mold. And the old cold ways dissolve in orange heat. Snuggle close, grab a seat. As we make a fire, as we make a together. When you make a fire, you sing a song, you sit together. When you make a fire, you sing a song, you sit together. When you make a fire, tell it forever. When you make a fire, tell it forever.
It's like beautiful. I can now hear all the layers with like the story that you guys are telling with like Lily, and just like, ooh, what could that mean? Ooh, what instruments do you guys play besides guitar?
I play piano. I think we both kind of play piano.
Yeah, a little bit.
You wrote a couple of these on the piano. Did you write this on the piano?
I think I wrote this first on the piano, and then I moved it over to the guitar. Yeah.
You did both. You did that with Raised by Wolves too, the closing song, right?
Right. Yeah. True. Yeah. Nick's a little better at piano than I am.
And he's a little better at guitar than I am.
But I play guitar, and then I play the guitar adjacent things. I play bass, and I play, and I play ukulele.
It's like when you go in for a thing, and they're like, "Oh, mandolin." It's like, can you play that? And then you're like, "Oh, I can play it. I can play it."
Yeah.
And then you're like,
that's why I just bought a mandolin. Yeah. Ask me tomorrow, and the answer will be a lying yes.
Yeah. Do you tumble?
Some tumbling. Some tumbling. Strong mover.
Back flip. Sure. By tomorrow.
Strong. Sure. Back tuck. You throw in words that like only gymnastics people would use. It makes it sound way better. And then you throw them a round off, and then they're like, that's disappointing.
Look over there.
It's always in the middle thirds. You guys, this album is so, I can tell that there are a lot of inspirations behind it musically. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about what went behind all of the orchestrations and where, even as like a young person, like what you listen to kind of informs what you create. So I'm just very curious what inspired this.
Totally. I feel like we both have merging influences, like people like Paul Simon, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Fleetwood Mac. And then Ethan has introduced me to stuff like the Lone Bellow, which I really love, which has like great 3-part harmony, which this is definitely based in, and like Mumford and Sons and Lumineers definitely like in there. But someone said to me, Bare Naked Ladies the other day, which I was like,
yes,
compliment of life. Like,
yeah, it's also Norbert's sound on the stuff that you guys have created. Shout out to Norbert Leo Butts, which he's always, he's struggling. So I'm hoping that we can amplify him in this moment.
Yeah, he needs a lift. He's the best guy alive and such a great freaking vocalist, man. Like, he's everything. He's cool. He's still theatrical and like he absolutely sounds like a theater singer while also sounding like a rock singer, and is the best actor. Like,
yes. Which is what a lot of those 90s sounds were, right? Like that's what we all enjoyed was
Pearl Jam and
right.
I feel like Lily heard my wife heard him sing this song for the first time, and her response was, "Oh, like I think I get what good acting can do for a song now." And I wasn't even like a little offended. I was
That's
like,
cold.
Right?
No, totally. It's so not a thing. It's just so not a thing when Ethan and I are singing the songs versus when you have a guy with life experience and like perspective on the words, why he would say them. It's just like, it does. And Lily does the same thing. You're just like, oh my God. Like it, for the longest time, it was me singing with myself in the demos, like over Ethan. And it was just like, enough. And then you get like a couple of other contours in there and real perspective, and it's like the thing comes alive.
I was actually just thinking about like the musical references thing this morning, because like there's this other element where a song that we'll get to, and so not to jump ahead, but the song Gripping It later was like this sort of fine line where we were like, we wanted to like feel like really intense like a rock song, but we wanted to keep like core of what the rest of the song felt like.
Mountain Goats, right?
Mountain Goats is like sort of this like talk about something that I listened to a lot as in middle school and high school, like just seeped into my brain and will never leave. But it's also like that was totally a reference point for both of us.
Oh yeah, totally. And theater and Floyd Collins, and like
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell the children, you guys gotta listen to Floyd Collins if you haven't already listened.
Everybody gets serious about your indie musical theater. That's where it's right. At.
Yeah, like Bright Star. On that note, let's play Every Day. Let's do it.
Every morning we wake up, let the sunrise,
let the sunrise,
grab a cup, fill it with food, and start a fire. All this swirling, me and you, living out here just as you, learning things that we never knew. Learning tunes that we never knew. Every day, that's what we do. That's every day. That's all we do. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day.
fast was that?
That was actually, I'm really impressed with the places that you guys are cutting, because
Same.
it's like, that's the story point, you know,
Yeah.
is like, we move forward in time.
I got you. We
You do.
tell stories.
Appreciate it.
You know who is here, who deserves to pop in, is someone I feel like you both love deeply, who
What
should
if we
be
don't?
involved. This is a bad time to find out. Let's bring in Lily Cooper. Let's do it.
Do you love me deeply?
In your car?
I'm literally in my
Deeply.
car, you guys. But I couldn't miss out on the live. I had to say hi. I had to jump on.
Love you.
Oh, you're the
Lil,
best.
you're
You are the
pregnant.
best.
I'm
You're
pregnant. There's a baby in there.
The reveal. The baby is also nominated for a Tony. I wanted to tell you on the stream.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah. I think he's like
Congrats.
the youngest person to ever be nominated for a Tony.
Yeah.
Younger than Daisy Egan?
Never forget. Oh my God, we're so excited to have you on. Your contribution to the album is so incredibly moving and beautiful. And yeah, we're just so excited to hear your song just coming up. But if you want to just tell us quickly, like, you got to record this like at your own home. Like, how was that process working with these guys over the internet during this time?
I mean, when Nick and Ethan or Ethan asked me to basically do anything.
Wait, no.
Wait, we can't hear you.
Oh no.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Oh, we got you.
no.
We got you.
You were complimenting us. Go back to that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just take my
That's better.
I'm gonna take my headphones off.
Love
I was complimenting you, but who cares?
Just skip that part.
So, yeah, it was really special because, you know, it was like the height of the pandemic and they sent me this box of a microphone and all of the equipment and stuff. And I did it in a walk-in closet in my apartment, which I think like kind of everybody now is figuring out a way to do. Like that's how it works nowadays, right? We like record albums in our walk-in closets. So it was really special. And I think a moment that like I will literally never forget is when I was on Zoom with them starting to record Olivia's song, and I told my two friends that I was having a baby.
And it feels like she was having the baby just for the show, which was
Just
so
for us.
nice of her, and felt like,
Method.
you
The
know,
commitment was so appreciated.
I did
yeah,
really well.
you did.
Crazy
I mean,
well.
we were saying today, it's like serendipity. I mean, both your and Norbert's collision with the album.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, and it's just so much, you can hear, and I feel like we learned how to write the song from you thinking about how you would frame it, you know, which is like such a great thing as a collaborator. And then you can hear your thought process in the song. You're like fully hearing the words and thinking about them in your own context. And it's like freaky. It's awesome.
Yeah, it absolutely, you know, informed my performance, I think, while I was recording it. And Ethan sent me one of the rough cuts of it. And I remember texting him back being like, well, thanks. Now I'm weeping. It's great. Thank you so much for this.
Sorry.
That was my goal. I did also, I added a bunch of insults over the top of it. Yeah, so that might have been part of it too.
I was
Or like,
on top.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why you were crying.
Aw. Jeez.
No, but I mean, like that is like one of the most special moments on the album for me to listen to it, because I, you know, have been listening to it a ton, and every time I get there, I'm like just so unbelievably moved by you in that song. Like it's just really special. I don't know what else to say. It's really meaningful.
I was also talking about how I just think it's incredible that you two, who are childless people, were able to write this song that is so honest and real. And I remember playing it for Paul, my husband, and he was like, wait, is Ethan having a kid? And I was like, no, not that I know of, not anytime soon. And it was just so impressive, you know, that the artistry is just really fantastic. The storytelling is really profound. And I felt really lucky to be a part of it.
Oh my God. Thank you.
The best.
I mean, I feel like we all wonder, right? It's just like and the closer you get to the idea of it, you're wondering and you're having all of these real thoughts and you're listening to your friends talk about it. And it's like, that was a helpful song in like life to be like, and it was the hardest song to write by far, right? I mean,
yeah,
we both were just like, we can't be oversimplified about this. We know how complicated it is to think about, you can't write some saccharine version. So it's like, how do you do that? And the doubt was really interesting. Like just the idea of like, what if my kid isn't cool? You know,
right.
like
No.
That was the thing. That was the thing we're tapping into. Like, oh, it was not cool.
yeah, that's what it's about. It's popular. You were popular totally in high school.
Yeah.
It's really cool that I feel like I've been peripherally witnessing you guys developing this show for a while now, and I've seen a lot of different renditions of Olivia's song. It wasn't Olivia's song before, but it was a different version, and it was really special to witness kind of the process of how it got to where it is now.
Cool.
I think it really just goes to show how immensely challenging it is to write a musical and to write music and to write a story that makes sense. And I think you guys nailed it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Lily.
So pure.
Thanks.
And
I think you nailed it.
Nailed it.
it's just a compliment circle, this whole thing. It's gonna be like, and you did great.
I will just say, hold on,
yeah.
Grace, sorry to interrupt you. One last
sure.
compliment. Is that I did a thing when we demoed it. I did like a riff that I thought was like meanly high. Like when you do the key change, right, to put the song in for Lily, there was a couple moments that she was like, this is not in a woman's range. Like, can we lower this to like a place where, we learned and we found the right one going into the second chorus. But there was this thing at the end.
But I wanted to try it so bad.
You wanted to try it.
I tried it.
And she crushed it. And it was so exciting. And we were over Zoom and it was just like first take Sally, like so fun. Just wanted to call that out because that's a dope moment.
Truly.
I can't wait to hear it. But I do want to say, like, Lily Cooper, we can catch you at 54 Below in just a few weeks.
Yes,
That's
thank
so
you guys
exciting.
so much for plugging that. I made my solo show debut last week at 54 Below, and this is my encore performance on the 15th. And it's really fun because I'm still super pregnant, unless I, give birth on stage, which could be exciting. So get your tickets.
Live theater.
Live theater.
Oh.
Oh my God. Order at a 54 Below Manhattan, whatever their new drink menu is. Well, thank you for joining us, Lily. This was so amazing. We'll, I guess, send everybody on their way before we listen to Rocks and Things. Let's go.
Good to see you.
See you, Lily.
Guys. Bye.
I sit, wait for the colors inside this little tube to change, hoping that they'll show me something I already know. Oh boy, what could it be? A sample of the sediment that's reticent to change its properties since we last did a check, and my predecessor wrote it down for me. Yes, as I suspected, everything is as it seems. It's funny how we spend our lives searching and researching for something our parents already knew. Yet we search for something timeless, something ageless and refined, because even in the ancient truths we might mine something new. So we learn for a couple of years, till we know what the sediment knows. Sure, we'll burn through a couple of tears, but no more than the fear of living alone. Better here, better now. In the crowd, I just heard it all too loud. No one stares here, there's no one to stare. No one dares to ask how I've been holding up. No one cringes as the windows break. No one calls to see if they can bring a casserole. No, we study rocks and things, inanimate and old as time, to take our minds away, to keep our son from asking why. And it's funny, something as old as loss is young in comparison to rocks. So we learn for a couple of years, maybe hundreds of years, till we know what the sediment knows. Sure, we'll burn more than a couple of tears, but no more than the fear of living alone. Better here, better now. He's the one thing I'm proud of. But can I give him all the love he needs? If it were grace I was looking for, that's where I'd find it in him. More than any god above, you're the one I love. So we learn for hundreds and hundreds of years, till we know what they know. Yes, we'll stay, we're not done. Our family is just begun. Oh boy, what could it be? A sample of the sediment that's reticent to change.
The sediment line. Guys, ooh, it's so good.
Ethan.
What does that mean?
Oh, wait, someone, headphones, everybody. We're having a fun feedback loop. Nick's gonna pop out for a moment.
Keep it down, Nick. It's behind there.
All good. That song hurts my feelings in the core of me. That I just.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's also like, oh god. So let's talk about this part of the show. Do you mind kind of getting us back into the chapter of that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, this is also the song that for me does the same thing. It's like, so okay, the moment in the show, Henry. Oh, welcome back, Nick.
Sorry, headphones.
You sound so honestly incredible, but it's coming across as like really slow.
What?
I'm sorry, headphones died. That's what it sounds like.
Like the cat bus
really
in Totoro.
I honestly want to sample it. Like, you sound fire.
How about
You said Tommy earlier, and now you're like, I'm going full tilt.
Now it's nothing.
Now it's nothing.
Oh no.
Oh no, Nick, I'm so
you
sorry.
away?
Okay.
He'll
We'll
be
send him
back.
away for just a minute. But yeah, Ethan, tell us. Your roommate is killing it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this point in the show, we're finally getting to see Henry really on his own, and he goes out to do his work, which is, he's a geologist, and he's collecting samples, and he's out on a rock face looking down over this beautiful Arctic landscape. that he's brought his son to. And for the first time, we get to go inside his head a little bit and see what Henry is dealing with that drove him to do this, that drove him to say, get in the car, we're going west, and gave him, and to make this new life and to build this new life. And it's a really important moment in the show. It's sort of the most pivotal moment. It's one of the first things that I wrote for the show. Nick and I talk a lot about it. Like, you know, the first thing I wrote was the riff for Alaska, Here We Come. And I was just like, that's fun.
I love that.
And then this next thing was Rocks and Things.
This next thing was Rocks and Things.
Oh, yes. Great.
Okay.
I'm like, it's one or the
beautiful.
other. It's like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, not to compare you guys, but like when one ascends, one must fall.
Oh, God. Who's who? Oh, no.
I'll leave that to the chat. Neither.
Sorry to interrupt. You were saying about Rocks and Things. Good song. Good one.
Oh yeah, it was just like one of the first ones that, and the moment that's so important about it is it's this moment of like, we get to sort of see who Henry is and where he's coming from. Yeah, that was a pretty vague description of it, but that's
it's the first. There's a secret turn in that song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Things get a little.
It's like the finishing the hat of that moment, right?
Yep.
I don't know.
Exactly. No, it's exactly right. It's the pivot into Danger Zone a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then let's go to Ben for Real and Simple. Let's do that.
All right.
My father is the son of an immigrant. My mother died real young. That must be where I inherited my fear of too much sun. I always thought I'd grow cancer in my cells. If I learned the sun too well, I am surviving every single day. It's hard to imagine living any other way. And as I try to build a life, one that's real and simple, it's hard to keep a hold of it, 'cause life is just a ripple. And as I try to see more clearly, peer behind the curtain, I'm troubled by this fear of mine, that nothing here is certain. Whoa. My father is the son of an immigrant. My mother died real young.
Oh, some questions. Do you have any role models, like from family? I think that, I mean, this whole thing is about some family, so you want to tie that in. I'll let you have it.
Totally.
Yeah.
My grandma is like a world-class great person, and she's like a super ordinary, like fully. I think she was a housewife for most of her life in Indiana. She raised 4 kids, and I saw her like a couple of days ago because my brother is having a baby, and we had a baby shower, and she was sitting there, and she was just dropping knowledge like I could dream about, saying things as smart, you know, like just simple little beautiful things. And you listen to, you know, the elders of your family talk sometimes, and like sometimes they can be a lot and sometimes they can be like profound. And it's cool to think about, you know, how her words became my words and then on down, and how we are all that. It's just such a fascinating thing. And that's what this is also about. So it's cool to like try to chart that and figure out what that passage of information is and how reliable it is. And in her case, she's the best. Donna Chase. Awesome woman.
Shout out. What about you, Ethan?
That's awesome. I feel like actually the process of writing this show for me has been a lot of mining like things from my family, and you know, for Ben, like trying to find like relating to people in my family, whether it's my dad or to my sisters who obviously aren't in this show. But I do think that there's like, that's been one of the joys of this is putting myself in the situation to be like, oh, wow, I really, really respect and love this about my dad. And I hope to be that good in this kind of way. And the same thing with my sisters, because obviously, like, you know, I do a lot of writing about, you know, and a lot of what Nick and I worked on in the show is like finding ways to like tap into what was my experience growing up and how does that inform, you know, there's similarities to Ben. And seeing how my sisters have constructed their lives, I'm like in awe of both of them. So it's not a super specific answer, except to say, like, I think that's one of the beautiful things about family is being able to learn from them and learn with them. And I think that I feel very grateful for that opportunity in general, but also doing that in this show.
Yeah, it's perfect. Oh, Norbert's voice is butter. I mean, yeah. Hope to get. Oh, wow. See, people are already prepping their book. You guys.
Yes. Sheet music will take a minute and will eventually be up somewhere. But the if you buy the album on iTunes, there's a digital booklet, and Robbie Roselle, who did the booklet design, laid the lyrics out beautifully. And it's like that thing, like it's a good read along. So buy the album and look for the digital booklet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful booklet, but I think this is a perfect moment because we're talking about family so well to go into Olivia's song. So let's do that.
Amazing.
I can feel you kicking my stomach like you're trying to get out into this dangerous place you know nothing about. And it's true that we can't wait to meet you, though I'm unsure of how it'll go. Will I be the kind of parent you have to outgrow? In my mind, I'm still a little girl, so how am I supposed to teach you to live in the world? I've never known what the next day would hold, let alone the next year. What the hell am I gonna do when you get here? 'Cause the planet we're on doesn't cut it. It's fucked up beyond all belief. Henry and I, we try, but we're being selfish by growing to 3. Don't first like me. You'll add a ton to the carbon footprint just through the act of existing. But maybe you'll fix what we're missing. Or what the hell do I know? I know I've never learned how to read my own mind. So how could I predict what future you will find? You might be brilliant, funny, and save us from falling apart. Or be irreparably broken right from the start. So what if I don't know how to raise a kid? My parents didn't either. And hey, I didn't turn out like they did. Every mistake that they made only showed me a new way to go. In the future, how I know. I can feel you kicking my stomach like you're trying to get free. Before your life's even started, you're already like me.
Try not to worry, son. I see the worry on your face. This place will give us space to press restart when we're apart from a world that's crumbling, a society that's struggling to survive. But out here the air is clear and we're alive. We're alive.
Oh, what a cliffhanger. Yeah.
Literally.
See, you go. See what you did. Yeah, the lines about not knowing about the next day, let alone the next year, is a mood for adulthood. Yeah. I mean, like, you're writing this about adventures, and then also in a time where, like, we couldn't really we could take mental adventures, right? It's like
Right.
Only. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing that existed was the unknown. I feel like it's something that I often feel, but it felt really I don't know, distilled this year,
Mhm.
especially in not to go too down the rabbit hole, but especially like March, April, May of 2020. You know, like it was just like this moment of like I don't know what's next. And so anyway, I think that there was definitely Nick and I have talked a little bit about like the difference between like relevance versus resonance versus, I was gonna say relevance, but I think the word is more about like whether it resonates with the
Mhm.
moment or whether it's like taken from the moment. And I think this is definitely
Mhm.
a resonating with the moment kind of thing.
Yeah. Like there's Law and Order, and there's a show that, you can do every 20 years and it means something different, and like we definitely didn't write the show with the pandemic in mind. And so
Yeah.
it's really luck in a terrible way, but it's like things collide with the moment, and you want to believe that you're like writing is like the moment is seeping into it somehow, but like
Mhm.
it's just interesting. I mean, I think we were already at a place of like isolating into our computers and our phones, and that's part of what the show is about, is that I think trying to even think about what it was before the pandemic, but like it was this idea of what does society do to us, and what do we dream about in nature, like cleansing us of, and then what happens when you really do it, and this idea of like you bring yourself with you. And like, anyone watching White Lotus?
Oh yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So White Lotus is incredible. I'm not going to, no spoilers, but one thing, there's a young, it's on HBO Max. Mike White's an amazing filmmaker and does a lot of stuff like taking apart whiteness and sort of like criticizing it from the inside. And he has this one character, this kid who loves video games and like can't look up. He's on vacation. He can't look up and see like the whatever. And he gets forced to sleep on the beach one night, and he sleeps on the beach, and he wakes up in the morning and sees a whale like in the distance, this like magical, don't need a screen to see the beauty of. And it changes his life. And then he wakes up in the morning and the tide has blown over his phone, and his phone is ruined. And he immediately flips back into like, oh God, no, all my stuff. And like, he's gone. And it's just like, oh my God, if that isn't what we're trying to talk about and isn't what we're all kind of, dealing with, like we're animals and we're societal creatures, and we're both. And it's a great show. Check it out. And also like check out ours.
And also looping it back. I mean, listen, lots of great people on it. But there was one question: which was the first song written, and how long did it take to make the album?
Oh, good. I think that the first like song that was fully written in a form, I think, was Rocks and Things. There were some other little bits that were written around the same time. But I think that was one of the first that was the first song written, and it also like really informed how we wrote the rest of it. And then making the album itself, like the writing of the show and whatever is years. Making the album is, I guess, year singular.
Kind of 1 year to 1 year almost, right? Like August to August,
give or take. Yeah.
Wow.
Like thanks Van Deen and Broadway Records, because honestly, like
Yeah.
really complicated thing to pull off. And they also introduced you all introduced us to Norbert, who we had known peripherally, but like it was nice to get, and Aaron, who produced the album. Like,
Yeah.
we really and there was a Bonnie and Stuart connection, I think, as well.
Totally.
Like there was a real sense of, oh wow, we need people to support us in this art. And like these Van and Dina and Grace,
Oh.
it's just like, and Robbie, like you need help, and otherwise it just goes, no one notices it. And it's just so nice to feel like this is, a version we can be really proud of, that we like, want everyone to find. And that's a huge part to Broadway Records.
Yeah. Oh, that's, first of all, very sweet. Second of all, that's what I hope that anyone that's listening and watching this gleams from this moment, is that when you create art, don't let it sit with you. Share it.
Yes. Do it.
It's not, like crazy. It's, you know what? Share it. Because the worst that can happen is that nobody listens, but I bet they will. Just
Right.
saying.
They're gonna be
I
like,
bet
why
they will.
didn't I do it? Why didn't I do that? Like,
Mediocre people do it all the time.
totally.
So, okay.
Sure.
Let's get into Gripping It, because I love this song.
Every song I've ever heard are just the ones that I got sung, made of lies that all have blurred, sold to me 'cause I was young. Who's to blame for what's left unsaid? Not the one who's hearing it. And who's to say how to get a grip? Not the one who's gripping it. We're going south, out of the coldest cold, where only the loneliest get sent. That's why we went, so we'd be free to do the things we'd only dreamed of. World that you can build and feel at will and call it freedom. People aren't perfect, 'cause you're the one who made them. Real ones disappoint you, it's better to create them. Real ones disappoint you. It's better to create. It's better to create them. Who's to blame for a life unlived? Not the one who's living it. And who's to say how to get a grip? Not the one who's gripping it. And who's to blame for the life unlived? Not the one who's living it. And who's to say how to get a grip? Not the one who's gripping it. Finally out here, outside, breaking the gates open wide, running 'cause I cannot hide anymore. Stare at the same and the sky, seeing the stars with new eyes. If all my choices are in mine, who are they for?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh my God. I love. You guys were at that point in the story where I feel like there's been a shift and we should talk about like where we are plot wise. Can one of you guys kind of take those reins for a sec?
I think I can do it. So
Go for it.
He's leaving. He leaves. He leaves this place, and he goes back to society. And the fear that it takes him to leave, and the there's like kind of 7 circles of hell in it or something. Like the woes are this like very primal, like, like, oh gosh, maybe I slipped on, like you can sort of see him winding his way down a mountain or something.
Oh, the Hades town of it all. Like just keeping going.
Yeah, he's gotta get out and face a lot of stuff along the way, and so this is really him breaking away from his father, and like what that does to his dad. We talk a lot about like stuff that's implied on this album, right? We try not to say it too overtly so you can see it yourself and imagine it yourself. Like plot, and story are kind of 2 different things, right? It's like it's not like he did this to him and then this happens. It's like here's the story point. And now we're moving into the kind of the denouement towards like a resolution or a break, but there's just been a break that will either be like confirmed or transcended, and that's where we're headed.
Well said.
SAT word.
Wild. I don't think that we got to like, talk about this earlier, but what were your literal involvements on writing the piece and the music? Because you guys had a lot to do with all of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're like, collaborating on all of it. And I think as goes with a lot of collaborations, there are different moments where somebody takes the lead and the other person is shaping. And then there's other moments when those roles switch. So I think really practically, it's been a really great collaboration in that way, which is that we have these moments of taking the lead and other moments of being sort of more of an editor and switching off in that way.
Totally. I mean, I feel like Ethan generated the most material, and I feel like was like every day was a song that I knew should exist, and I just like was like, what if it's this? And I think I wrote it in the time that I was playing it. Like I was just like, well, then like, and then Ben would talk, and then he would be like, talk like this, and like, like just kind of like almost scatting through it, and Ethan was like, no, let's do that. And I was like, oh, is that how easy it is once you kind of know what should be there? Like, it's really hard to figure out what, to even write it all. But then you start seeing where the holes are and what you need to fill. And you have template stuff from other songs like Rocks and Things and Alaska. And it implies stuff. So it's just cool.
Well, we got to take this question from Holler If You Hear Me is F. Michael Haney. As multi-hyphenate folks, writers, singers, instrumentalists, actors, etc., what do you think is the future of the industry of new musical theater? I think this is a perfect question for you guys because you are heavily involved in it, and of course this album. So, however you want to.
Totally.
I see you, Robbie.
Wow, such a good question. That I don't fully know. Like, F, you are the future, is part of it. But like, I think that there's I am really excited about this element of accessibility. And I think that new musical theater has been more accessible. Like I was watching, Nick and your schoolmates on YouTube. And I was learning to love writing and musical theater because of that. And that was new musical theater that was coming in an accessible way. And so I think that like one of the things that I really find valuable as we don't go back to what it was, but we move forward to a new version of theater among a slew of other like sort of important things is the accessibility from the perspective of the audience and being able to bring theater and musical theater to people so that people will then also be able to come find it.
Yeah. I mean, just cheaper tickets and like,
we were talking about this like right before we hopped on. So I know it's like top of mind.
No, totally. And Spotify is the cheapest ticket in town, like it's in a way it's just like, okay, so if this can get you to a theater to invest in it, maybe we've also created a relationship that started before. So you're not just like guessing with that ticket price because we can't control capitalism. Like, I think there's just a lot of stuff. Yeah. Ethan said it perfectly, like socially and in logistical practice. And then I think there's also creative changes that happened in this last year and a half. People like really, their minds broke, right? And we all collectively broke together. And so it's like, there's a certain screw it, to it now. That's just like, let's just do the thing that you want to do and stop trying to be perfect. And that's where like I think this grew from. Like we stopped being so precious with it. We were like, it's this, and you have to kind of move fast and loose sometimes and put stuff out. Like I think about that. Like immaculate records are usually immaculate for some weird reason, like people's lives go like this. So like put it out. Right. For who? Right. Yeah. So
I love
okay,
that.
F. Okay.
Does that answer your question? F. Haney. All right, guys, we're gonna go right into Edge of the World. Let's just go there.
Let's do it.
Everything about this world feels wrong. We're not equipped to know what's going on. I always felt like I grew up on a different planet, on one of those stars up above, a map I used to plan out all my life, all my lives. There's too many people crowded in the street. An island once mountainous, now concrete. I thought it was supposed to be different. Everyone thinks they're different. We still have to go on with our lives to survive. And it feels like we might fall off any minute. It feels like we are living on a ledge. It feels like we might fall off any minute, so why delay? Do the thing you couldn't do yesterday. We're living on the edge of the world. We're living on the edge. There are infinite versions of a life. Where you come from, where you go, who you meet and what you like. We don't all get to choose the versions we are given, but with you, that's not true. We got it right. We're so alive. It feels like we might fall off any minute. It feels like we are hanging on a ledge. It feels like we might fall off any minute. But look around, this different planet we found. We're living on the edge of the world. You're the one thing I'm proud of.
Didn't you love her?
I tried to give you all the love you need.
Would she have loved me?
And we study rocks and things.
Are you listening?
Learn the magic that nature brings.
Are you listening?
Way it heals what stings. But until we're here, we say, why did you take me to Alaska? For the ice and the trees, for the sky and the breeze, where you grew up so well, so free from those memories. Just you, son, you and me. You, son, you and me. Living on the edge of the world. Living on the Why don't we write a new song together? Can't we just make up a different one to sing? I'm sick of my old stories, the way they cling to my hair. If you aren't sick of yours, well then we can start from there or anywhere. And it feels like we might fall off any minute. Feels like I could lose you in the storm. It feels like we are both the same and both so very different. But I promised her I'd always keep you warm. Just me and you. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Isn't that true?
All right, guys, we're going to hop right into the final song, Raised by Wolves.
I've read in books that history is written by the winners. They know just what to say. I've read in books that karma catches up to all the sinners. It always finds a way. But I was raised by wolves. So what do I know? What do I know? I've read in books the water level's rising. Will it make it here? Will this be ocean soon? Or will the levees hold? And I was told the world is made by imagination. So that's how I used to play, with all the time and space and no one in my way. But I was raised by wolves. So what do I know? What do I know? I was raised by wolves. So what do I know? What do I know?
Y'all, you made an album.
Yeah!
You really did. Like, Ethan, I know that you came out with Wanderer, like, in this time. Like, you've cranked out so much of your own music. And, like, Nick, you've been doing this. You've been cranking out your own music. I got to hear some bops of yours from years past. And I was like,
yes.
okay.
The best.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's incredibly impressive and it's beautiful. And I don't know what type of future you see for a project. I hate it when people are like, what's next? But I really mean that, like, with this type of baby that you've created, you kind of have just put it out into the world. I can't imagine how that feels right now. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's like weird to live with something in a small group of collaborators for a while and then to have it just be out and hope that people find it and get as much from it as we gave to it and got from it also. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what's next, but I feel really proud of this version of it.
No. Yeah.
We did Broad Wasted on what day? Like Wednesday.
Who knows what day?
We didn't really get wasted, but we had a great time. And they we were talking about like an excursionary production as opposed to immersive excursionary. And there is something about, like, I would love to do this outdoors so much. It would be like the biggest dream. So that's like a total dream, but there's just so many other little, ideas that are percolating, and obviously doing it in a theater would be amazing. And we do see like the cast playing, which I think would be both like cool. And we talked about like the unreliable narrator in the show, kind of like that everyone sort of thinks they're the, lead musician in a way, like playing into some of that. And I think we could do it for cheap, but it's just about like what theater's gonna be like coming back, and that's and trying to find a good way, right?
Like literally, I've been getting all these great emails from MCC about like Space Dogs coming up. You guys killed it. Can you talk about it?
Oh my God. I'm so excited and totally nervous, and like, what is theater going to be? But I'm doing a show called Space Dogs at MCC with my buddy Van Hughes. We wrote it together, and it's just the two of us. And we're telling the true bonkers story of the real Russian dogs that went into space in the 50s and 60s. And it's like
That's
a rock
story I want told right now, and I'm not even being funny.
Oh
like,
my
I
God.
Really
the
do.
Space Dogs of the Cosmodrome. It's gonna be a rock TED talk. So come to that, and then Ethan, I think you're doing a show too, maybe.
Yeah, doing Assassins.
You kill people
in the fall. Person.
Yeah.
And doing Assassins, the Sondheim show, playing Lee Harvey Oswald and the Balladeer, alongside what is certain to be just an awesome cast of amazing people, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and you're playing in it as well, right?
Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah, what are you playing?
Playing guitar, and this is why I bought a mandolin, because they said, "Can you play mandolin?" And I was like, "Of course." So now I play mandolin, and it's like the most amazing kind of challenge to be. First of all, I've been like watching John Doyle productions and been like so inspired by it forever, and by him forever. So like to be able to try to put that into practice and see if I can do it is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and this is one of the last ones he's doing before he leaves Classic Stage Company. So I'm so happy that you're still getting to do it with all the same people that were announced 100 years ago when I first got a ticket to that show.
You know what I just realized is that CSC was like integral to our friendship and like some of our first collaborations, because Secret, they did a SpongeBob workshop at SC that was fully produced. That was like a full set. And I played Plankton and he was doing SpongeBob, and we hung out in there, did like tech. We did tech for a workshop for like 5 weeks.
We did a full week of tech.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were just hanging out, talk about musicals, and now you're back at CSC and we've written a musical. Cool.
Yeah, super cool. I'm like pretty excited to be back in those dressing rooms.
Totally.
Those, like the cramped spaces, like just like, typing away in between breaks.
Totally. My God. The best.
the last thing I saw there right before shutdown, I think, was Macbeth. And I don't know if that's what shut everything down. I'm just saying.
Whoa, really good point.
Yeah.
But it was really good. It was haunting. I was like unfamiliar with the text and I was like, oh, this is upsetting. But you guys, I am so thankful and honored that you would share this album with everybody. And like, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I hope that everybody, if you're not just like listening to it, you're buying it. I hope that whatever's happening outside is okay. But guys, thank you so much. Everyone needs to go to BroadwayRecords.com, post and tag all of us all of the time in your favorite songs, your favorite lyrics, whatever it is, because yeah, it's great. And we want everybody to know about it. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. And look out for this album and all of your future projects, because everything you guys touch, beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys. Such a pleasure. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
See y'all.